Hello everyone, welcome back to the new edition of this particular YouTube channel, Adayo Pro Tips. Alright, so in this particular video, I'm going to show you guys the step on how you can also predict your own daily two odds with corner betting strategy. Corner market in football betting happens to be one of the markets that is kind of easy to win, except if there is a change in tactics. Most of all these particular predictions, most of them are based on checking the previous, games played with other opponents, and if a particular team decided to change their tactics, that's when sometimes we always have it that most of our games are going the wrong way. You know, teams that are expected to score more goals, teams that are expected to do more corners, and they are doing less corners. That is when you will notice that there is a change of tactics. But in order to increase your chance of winning, with these easy steps, I'm going to show you guys how you can do it by yourself. Now let's go. I'm very sure many of us are aware of this particular betting bet prediction app, and if you are just watching this particular video for the first time, or you're just joining us on this channel for the first time, this particular app is called BetMine. So it can help you to generate games predictions based on some popular markets like straight winning, straight draw, first half over 0.5, corners, and so many more like that. It just depends on how you set the categories that you want. Now, this particular app has the home page whereby they give you predictions based on time that the games will start, and sometimes based on important leagues. So for this particular app, I noticed that at least let me just say 75% or 80% of their daily predictions always come out well. But the only problem there is just that you won't know which game that if you include from this particular list of this is their home page of the this is the home page of the app. So you won't know the game that you cut the ticket, but at least at the end of the day, 80% of the games predicted on this particular platform homepage always came out well. Right. So now, without wasting more to our time, I'm going to move on to the category selections on how we can generate our own corner predictions. So with corners, if you are going for over 10.5, it will be very easy for you to generate your two word with just two games. Are you getting it? With just two games, it will be very easy for you guys. And if you want to be going for over 8.5 goals corners, there is probability for you guys to be generating maybe another 1.5, 1.6. All right, now, so the event type that I'm going to select, that is, if I'm going for over 10, I'm going for over 10. Just click on over 10, and we are going for today's game. And when it comes to league, I know that there are some leagues that does not do corners. They don't engage in corners very well, but we are going to select all leagues so that we won't be stressing ourselves or finding it hard to generate games. Now, the maximum numbers of games that I want this system to generate for me, I want it to be 20. So when it comes to big odds like this, we have what we call the probability interval. That is, how sure is it that these games that the system wants to generate for me are accurate. So we have the percentage of probabilities of outcome. Maybe 50. There is 50% chance that these games will end up as over 10.5. There is, so you can set the assurance how you want your predictions to assure you. It can be 84% to 100%, 90% to 100%, depends. Now when it comes to over 10.5 corner, if you go for over maybe 73% to 100%, it may be very hard for you to see games that you want. So the best thing is just to leave it on its own and search. So this thing will show you ads unless maybe probably you have paid for their VIP or all these are no ads stuffs. At this bit that you've paid, then this thing will not be showing ads for you. So alright, so now we have our 20 games generated by the systems, and if you guys look at it very well, most of it are corner currently because we are currently on the weekdays. And I know something about all these tournaments or corner or cup games. Most of the games that we have here are cup games, tournament and cup games. So one particular features about this particular or of all these tournaments and maybe cup and stuff like that is that the teams involved, they always want to try to push for goals. Most times they always want to try to push for goals and score. So this give us the chance or the high chance of making of getting more corners in those games. But this is how you are going to do it. There is a two idea towards this particular strategy of corners. You only go for games that you know that goals you are expecting goals from those games to occur very well. And if you want to make use of this particular app, after generating your games, let us make use of the first game as an example. Let's assume that you click on this particular game and you want to check if you can go for the corners. Now we have the predictions here. Okay, so the first thing that you need to check is to check the total corners. So for the over 7.5, we have 16% assurance that for the under 7.5 corners, 16% chance that the game will end up as under 7.5. We have 84% chance that the game will end up as over 7.5. So scroll down, you will notice that up till over 9.5, that's when this particular prediction, the chance of this particular game ending up as over 10.5 goals stopped. And we have the chance for the under 10.5 at 51%, which is more than the chance of over 10.5 corners. So going for this particular game as over 10.5 corners may be kind of risky, but I'm going to give you another hint on how you can eliminate some games that doesn't fit into predicting these particular games as over 10.5 corners. Or but whenever the thing doesn't reach, for example, now we have it in this place that the game is expected to end up as under 10.5 with 51% assurance, and this place 49%. So don't think of going for this game as over 10.5 at all. So I would just advise you guys just think of going maybe within this particular range, maybe over 7.5, over 8.5, over 9.5. But this is how you are going to validate your predictions. So if you come to the goal aspect here, so what you just need to do is to make sure that these two options, these two markets, must be the percentage of possible outcome of it must be more than predicting under. So it won't be like maybe you are having okay over 1.5 and 50-50 for under 2.5 and over 2.5. Make sure everything here, at least the game is expected to end up as over 2.5. So for me in this particular game, if I want to go for it, I will advise you guys to go for maybe probably over 8.5 or over 7.5. But just make sure that any games that you want to predict or that you, or any market that you want to go for, make sure that you are going for it when probability of outcome is around maybe 85%, 74%, at worst 69%. So in this situation, the reason why I won't go for over 9.5 for this particular game, I think that I want to predict it as over corners, is that you see the probabilities of going over 9.5 are 61%. I'm going to show you the reason why at the end of this particular videos. Now watch. So let's say we want to check this particular game. So we have the total goals greater than under 2.5. So that means we are expecting even more than 2.5 goals from this particular game, but not so sure. Now looking into the corners, this one also seems to be worst kind of. So in case you want to go for this particular game, I would suggest you go for over 7.5. So if you guys notice very well, you will notice that most of the games that the system generated for us, most of it did not meet up with the over 10.5 goals percentage. It happens like that. It happens like that. So I'm going to show you the reason why. Look at the colors of all these particular predictions. You are going to notice that these are yellow, yellow, yellow. So the yellow means moderate risk. Whenever you are seeing red, that is risk. That means you need to avoid it or skip it. But when you see green, that means save. So if you guys look at these particular two games, you guys will notice that the color that the color that we have from the system happens to be green, green, and we are able to get 1.45 odd for the first game and 1.60 odd for the for the second game. It is not always that easy for you to generate safe tips with over 10.5 from that particular system. But if you are able to do that, just note it, that is like a sure banker, like 100% sure that you are getting it. But the reason I will not call it 100%, I will not give you 100% assurance on it, is that teams, most of these teams, they can just decide to change their tactics towards a particular game. So that is the unpredictable nature of sport. That is the aspect of whereby you won't be able to predict 100% of what a particular match should end up with. So now let now say that we are unable to get safe tips under this particular market, but you want to consider going for over corners at least. So I would just advise you that after generating the 20 games, don't give up. Are you getting it? You are still going to get games that are expected to end up as over 10. But when you get them, if you don't like them, just find a means. Are you getting it? Find a means of going for maybe something below over 10. Now, for example, let's check this particular game. So we have it, so we are expecting it to end up as over 2.5 goals. Okay, and the percentage of probabilities of outcome of it is even around 61%, which is above 60. Good. But when you come down to their corners, we don't have the assurance that the game will end up as over 10.5. All right, so don't give up. Just check, keep checking. Just keep checking. So don't forget, the total goals expected or probabilities of outcome must be around over 2.5. Are you getting it? Must be over 2.5. So let's say we want to eliminate some games out, and note, eliminating these particular games doesn't mean that most of the games won't end up as over corners, but the reason why I'll be eliminating it is to increase our chance of winning. Are you getting it? So let us check Coventry City against Luton Town. So let us check the. Alright, so we have the goal expected to be over 2.5, and the corners, fantastic. So everything here clicked right? So this particular game actually qualified to be predicted as over 10.5 corners. But if you want to go save, like maybe you want to play save, uh you just want it to be more safe, you can go for anything in this particular range. But most times when I'm able to get something like this, most times at least everything from over 7.5 to over 10.5 shows that there is a high chance of this particular games ending up like that. I always like to go for anything that meet up with maybe 80% and above. For example, for this particular game, if I want to play in a normal way, I can just go for over 8.5, but in a risky way, I will just go for the 10 over 10.5 like that. So this particular game happens to be a perfect game to go for as over corners. Alright, so we have one accurate games that is expected to end up as over corners, and the rest are also good for corners because anything can happen in any sport games like that. So we're expecting more corners in all these particular games, but you will be more assured when you have your valid data of a particular match that you want to predict. So many more like that. If you keep checking, you will see games that will meet up with your criteria. So many more like that. So if you come down here to, if you check the match between Bromley and Ipswich Town, let's click on it and let's see what we have there. So for the prediction of the total goals, we have it ranging from over 1.5 to over 2.5. Okay, and moving down to total corners, we have everything as over 10.5 corners, meeting up with the start. But let's say that we want to go save on this particular match. Maybe I want to predict save, then I would rather advise you guys to go for over 7.5 with 86% assurance of possible outcome. Now, these are the games that I predicted yesterday. Let me show you. Okay, let me check Benfica. Let's see what we have there. Benfica, nice. Alright, so we have the over 2.5, but we don't have it up to 10 corners. But actually, the game may also end up as over 7. Who knows? But when you have it that the system said, okay, from over 7 to over 10, everything all through, you're expecting good results from it, then this is a green light that this particular game will end up as over corners very well. What you just need to do is now depends on how safe you want to play the games. So let me check this. Unfortunately, this one did not meet up with over 2. But one thing about Brazilian game is that they play corners very well. Yes, they play corners very well, very very well, very very well. But over 7.5, 96%, imagine. But the fear is just the aspect of this goal attempt, which is very low. All right, so let me show you the previous games. So let me show you the attribute of this particular games that we predicted yesterday, the over 2.5 goals. So all right, so these games, they are expected to end up as over 2.5, over 1.5, and also at the same time they are expected to end up as over 10.5 corners. And if you guys look at it, they are not all these moderate or risk tips that we just analyzed earlier. This one are safe tips with green light. Are you getting it? Though green lights do cut sometimes, so most of the green lights, sometimes green lights will turn to red lights sometimes. But let us look into the data, like the internal organs of each of these particular games. Now we have the predictions here. So the total goals, imagine, this is where you are going to notice that this is what makes the difference between the safe tips, the moderate tips, and the risk tips. So for this particular game, we have it that the over 1.5 of this particular game is 91%, over 2 68%, and over 3 57%, which is more than going for the under. And now moving on to the corner aspect. So we have everything all through as over corners, and if you look at it, for the over 7.5, this is 98%. For the over 8.5, this is 97%. For the over 9.5, 84%. But normal, if I want to play safe on this particular game, let's assume that I want to play safe. So far everything meet up with the over 10.5 category of analysis, then I want to go safe, then I would rather go for over 9.5 because of the percentage of probabilities of outcome, which is 84%, and it is above 80%, then it is fine for me to go with. Now another thing that I look into is that if you look at the over 10.5, you will notice that you can't compare the percentage of it coming out as over 10.5 to the previous games that we've been analyzing for a while now. So this shows that this particular game is perfect, is a perfect game for over 10.5 corners. And if you check the stats, the outcomes of the game later ended up in 16 corners, 10 corners for the home team and 6 corners for the away team, which is perfect over 10.5 straight. So the game Sorry. So with that, we are able to get 1.45 odd from it. Now moving on to the second games. The game ended up in 3-2. I'm very sure this one too is expected to end up as over 2.5. No doubt. So checking the prediction, we have it that the game is expected to end up as over 2, and the percentage of the over 2.5 is even around 65%, which is above 60%. Perfect game to go for as over 2, but over goes, they can give you BP if you are not careful sometimes. So now this meets the category of analysis from the aspect of total goals, and moving down to total corners, we have everything as over 10 point over corners, because it is up to over 10.5 corners. So whenever you have any games or you do manual analysis, because there is a manual analysis that you guys can apply to this corner strategy that will also help you to generate the results that you are looking for. And when you use this particular manual analysis and you are able to get average corners by both teams to be above of 10, then you should be expecting corners in that particular games. Now it now depends on if the game will exceed over 7.5 corners, over 6.5 corners, over 8.5, 9.5, or 10.5 corners. That depends on what eventually happened on the pitch. We are predicting when the game has not even started yet. We don't know the players that they are going to use, we don't know the pitch, we don't know what will happen. So we are just predicting against the games that they will play, which we don't know the players that will play. The people that are playing safe, they don't know that we are predicting their own outcome. So when you have everything like this, everything set up like this, then there is a high chance that the game will end up as corners. So let us assume that I want to go save on these particular games. I didn't mean that I want to play safe. Then I would rather go for over 8.5 or extremely safe over 7.5. But best for me to go for is over 8.5. But fortunately, this particular game eventually ended up as over 10.5 corners, because checking the match start, we have it that the home team played 8 corners and the away team played 7 corners, which aggregates to 15 corners. Over 10.5 goals soft. Alright, so this is the secret step on how you guys too can make your own corner predictions, getting daily tools like a pro. So if you are just coming across this particular YouTube channel, kindly make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you'll be getting more daily tips on most of these particular strategies. And don't forget to like our video, drop your comments in case if you have any question regarding to these particular strategies. I know you have a lot of questions to ask. Just kindly drop it in the comment section. I'm going to answer you. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.